JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 19th of August 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute an investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into this chart, this graph, this picture first. So I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but basically the situation remains problematic. I mean, the figures continue to rise. In the US is kind of US, Brazil, and India are leading the way, as we're talking about in millions of total infections here. So yeah, basically not very good situation here in the world. Of course, like I said, we'll continue monitoring that. For now, it seems that the market is slightly ignoring the coronavirus, and it continues to push higher. But yeah, for now, like I said, if suddenly we get a strong spike higher, then it will be quite a decent, well, it could be quite a decent shock here again, because, for example, as we can see, the figures here, the daily cases kind of are on a decline, and if you remember previously, I talked about this possible head and shoulders pattern here, somewhere here, but yeah, it started drifting lower. But now, if suddenly, let's say, if the numbers spike again to these levels, to these highs that we saw here in the beginning of August, then, well, I mean, the market could take a turn on that. So, jumping into the markets, of course, Nikkei 225 here. I talked about this one, and everything's working out according to the plan that I was talking about yesterday. So, basically, what I was saying, that if this downside line and the highest point of July, also together with the 21-day EMA, if all this area here continues to provide decent support, this area is roughly around the 22,965 territory, then yes, we could see a nice reversal and a push back to the upside. However, I mean, for now, we'll be very careful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the markets are hitting all-time highs, especially the U.S. ones. We cannot say that about the Asian equities and the European ones, but the U.S. ones are driving to the upside for now. Like I said, the Asian ones and the European ones are slightly on the modest side. So here, for example, if we get a push back above the June high here, which is around the 23,185, 86 zone, then yep, this could increase the chances of a possible move higher here. this scenario here that I've drawn could work out nicely, or if it does push higher, starts making its way back above the 23,185 zone, then yes, we will aim for the highs of last week. But if those get overshot, then well, the next target is the 23,806 territory, marked by the high of the 20th of February. So again, for now, if we are cautiously bullish on this one, but we'll be still very careful and watch the developments surrounding, first of all, of course, the coronavirus, and then the U.S.-China trade talks, if we can actually call them talks, because at the moment there aren't any which we could call as talks. Now, jumping into Shanghai Composite here, you can see that the this barrier here continues to provide resistance. Now, this is what I was talking about yesterday and on Monday, and I was saying that keep your eyes on this barrier, the 3,457 territory, because if it provides resistance, we could see this one drifting back down here, especially if it starts falling below the 3,409 zone. Marked by the high of the 11th of August, and then yes, we could maybe consider a bit of a further decline. However, as you can see by the arrow drawn here, I have my arrow somewhere around here with potential reversal to the upside somewhere from around here, because probably this is where the 21-day EMA could approach, could be by the time the index could approach this area. So that's why we can, for now, I'm keeping an eye on the 21-day EMA, because as you can see, it continues to provide decent support. If the index drops below the 3,409 zone, yes, we will consider a larger move to the downside. However, we'll be very careful near this 21-day EMA. If it provides support again, then we could see a nice rebound here and a push back to the upside. For those who are more on the cautious side, you could wait for a break above the 3,457 territory first, because such a move would confirm a forthcoming higher high and more buyers could be joining in. However, now in terms of the downside, or should I say downside in the short run, now if this 21-day EMA gets broken and yep, we see a further move below the 3,336 territory, then yes, lower levels could be met, especially if also the index drops below the 3,307 zone right here. So that's why for now, guys, be very careful here. Yes, from the very short-term perspective, there is a possibility for this one to drift lower if it drops below the 3,409 zone, and then yes, we'll take it from there. Now, jumping into the European equities, and this one is the German DAX. So, yesterday I spoke about this level right here, the 12,913 zone. So, yesterday during my morning video and my traders' tea time, during my traders' tea time, the index was above this barrier, above this 12,913 zone. But as you can see, it kind of got pushed back below it, and that level is the highest point of June, so the price got pushed below it. However, it remained above the 21-day EMA, so that's all looking nice and great, I would say. Still, however, the fact that it got pushed back below the June high here, that kind of raises a bit of concerns here. So that's why for now we'll be very careful, and we'll watch today's trading carefully, because if it somehow starts moving below the 12,773 territory right here, now this is where it could become a little bit ugly for the bulls, and we could see this index drifting back down here towards these slightly lower areas, because at the same time the index would be placed below the 21-day EMA. So again, for now, keep your eyes on this. Could be quite interesting, but in order to aim for some higher levels now, we would need to see this one at least pushing back above the 12,913 zone. Of course, we would prefer to see a push above the 13,100 level, which is the high of last week. But like I said, we'll start considering higher areas if we get a push above the 12,913 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. DXY, so DXY here closed below this lower side of the range I was talking about. So in a way, everything's kind of leaning more towards the downside. It closed below the 92.55 territory, and this way the index kind of opened the way towards further declines. Now, what I was talking about yesterday was that I was saying that if this area gets broken, then keep your eyes on the 92.24 level. And the reason why I was saying that, because that's the low of the 15th of May. Sorry, not the 15th, 14th of May. Why did it shift a little bit here? There we go. So we have 14th of May 2018. So this is where currently the index is getting a hold up. Now the big question here is, can it continue to provide a hold up? If it can, then we could see this one reversing back to the upside here, and in a way we could start looking at some higher levels if the DXY here starts moving back above this lower side of the previous range here, this 92.55 level. So then kind of it could increase the chances of a possible move higher. So that's why for now be very careful, guys. Like I said, this 92.24 territory is right now providing a decent support. If, for example, this day is going to end somewhere around here like this with a candle like that unchanged, then we could be getting ourselves a nice doji, which means that there could be a chance for a reversal here to the upside. But again, for now, this is just a pure speculation. For now, let's see how this day is gonna go on. But if it somehow moves back above the 92.55 territory right here, then yes, maybe we could aim for a bit of a larger correction to the upside. Now gold, gold is working out perfectly. I mean, yesterday I was talking about this 2015 territory, and look at this beautiful move and a bang on test of this area. And this is what I was saying that in the beginning of this week as well, when we were still around here near slightly above that 1940 zone. I was saying that yes, our targets are going to be here, the 1981, then the psychological 2000 territory, and then I'm going to keep an eye on this 2015 territory, and if we reach that, I will take it from there. So we managed to reach that. That's great news. So I've met my target here, but now you can see that yes, we are seeing a bit of a setback here. However, the price for now still remains above this 1981 zone. So even if it drifts a little bit to the downside here, still, as long as the 21-day EMA continues to provide decent support, there is still a chance for the bulls to drive this one higher later on. But if, for example, this reverses straight away to the upside here and breaks this 2015 territory, then, well, I mean, this could open the path back to the this all-time high near the 2075 level. So again, for now, it's a very interesting spot right now here. Probably the suggestion is to wait and see what it's going to do, because it's a very tricky one here. It could drop lower, it could drop below the 1981 zone and drift lower and to test this 21-day EMA again, or even overshoot it as well. That's why we want to be on the safe side. The only, like I said, the only little kind of more confident thing here is that if it pushes above the 2015 territory, and especially if it closes above that, then there is a good chance for this one to move back to the all-time high here, or even maybe create a new one. But again, for now, it is where it is. So let's keep on monitoring it. Quick update on Bitcoin Cash. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because basically yesterday in my tea time I talked about this crypto, and you can see it's working out nicely here. So what I was saying yesterday, that in a way, after it the crypto reached this 326 territory, it failed to overcome it, and that was that's the high of the 7th of August. It failed to overcome it and started drifting back down. What I was saying, that even if it drifts back down here, be very careful near the 21-day EMA, or this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 21st of July. And yep, for now, if these two, if this upside line and this 21-day EMA, if these two lines are going to provide decent support for the crypto, then we could see a nice reversal in the push higher. For those who are more on the cautious side, obviously, you can wait for a break above the 326 territory first and then aim for some higher levels, because such a move would confirm this little kind of, well, I wouldn't say the forthcoming higher high, because probably a break above this 338 territory would confirm a forthcoming higher high. That's the current highest point of August, and then yes, we could aim for higher levels, but we could start examining the upside if we get a push above the 326 barrier. So keep your eyes on that one. AUDUSD. So here the picture is quite interesting as well. Now, yesterday I've looked at this one, and basically this 0.72, let me just zoom in here a little bit, 0.7243 territory. Yesterday we had a nice push above it, but we didn't have a daily candle kind of staying above that area. So now today we're seeing a further move higher a little bit. However, as you can see, it failed to reach yesterday's high, which is roughly around the 0.7265 mark, and then started correcting a little bit to the downside. Now, we'll be very careful here, because again, it also depends how DXY here is gonna how it's going to act here near this 92.24 level, because if suddenly DXY starts picking up the upside momentum here, then, well, I mean, we could see a drop here on AUDUSD. So that's why for now, probably the way you could look at it is that if it pushes above the high of yesterday, then yes, aim for the next potential target at let me just quickly 0.7295 mark, and that's basically the highest point of February 2000. No, sorry, that's going to be, I think, January. There we go. That's the highest point of January 2019. That's marked by the 31st of January here. So yep, you could aim for that 0.7295 level, but only if we get a push above yesterday's high. For now, like I said, be very careful here. If by any chance the pair then reverses back down here and ends the daily candle below the 0.7243 territory right here, then, well, I mean, we could probably see a bit of a correction lower here, guys. So that's why be very careful. And the reason why I'm saying correction, because still it would be above this upside support line taken from the low of the 30th of June and above the 21-day EMA. But if these two get broken here, then, well, I mean, it could open the door towards further declines. But again, for now, all eyes are on the 0.7243 territory, and of course the high of yesterday near the 0.7265 level. USD JPY, so here this is where it's quite interesting. The pair is finding good support near this 105.30 zone. I talked about this previously, and you can see this is the little kind of result that we're having right now here. So it did overshoot it today, but you can see the bulls managed to lift the rate back above this area. What I was saying previously when I was covering this pair, I was saying that if we get a nice drop below the 105.30 territory, then this is where we will start looking at some lower areas. So initially the idea was that if the pair, well, the idea which I talked about last week, the idea was that if the pair drifts back down here and finds support near this 106 level, then we could see a nice rebound and then maybe a push back towards this in the direction of this downside resistance line, taken from the high of the 24th of March. But the break happened, the break of this 106 level happened, and the pair started drifting lower and is now approaching this 100. Well, actually. Let me reiterate that. It's not approaching, it had already tested this 105.30 territory. So now the big question, can it actually stay above this? I mean, if it stays, then we could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the upside. However, again, all eyes are on this 106 zone. If that provides decent resistance, then we could see a nice reversal back down. So that's why probably I will say that as long as the pair stays in this little territory right here between the 105.30 and the 106 zone, we'll probably take a bit of a neutral stand here, because in a way, like I said, it could rebound and move higher, but if it fails to move above the 106 zone, it could reverse back down. But to be on the safe side, probably wait for that daily close below this 105.30 zone, and then yes, we could aim for slightly lower levels, like for example the 104.819 zone marked by the lowest point of July, or even going further down. But again, we need that confirmation break. So GBPCAD, now this one is quite interesting, and I kept talking about this one a lot. And basically, if you watch my previous videos, I was talking about GBPCAD here, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this potential falling wedge pattern, and which tends to be a bullish indication. And you can see this is the nice example of it. And yep, we had a nice pop yesterday. The pair moved above the 1.7350 and above the 1.7396 level marked by the high of the 14th of August. And now it continues. It seems that it wants to continue pushing further north. For now, we'll remain a little bit on the bullish side. Our next target is the 1.7531 zone, marked by the high of the 7th of August. And if it overcomes that, then of course the next target is the highest point of July near the 1.7675 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the downside for this one, well, I mean, it's probably a little bit on the tricky side with the downside here. So the downside could come only after a break of this upside support line taken from the low of the 1st of July, or should I say the more comfortable, for us to be a little bit more comfortable with the downside scenario. That's what we would need to see, because again, if it drifts lower here, it still could find some support either near the 21-day EMA or near this upper side of the previous falling wedge pattern, or near this upside support line. So that's why a lot of kind of support here for this pair. But of course, that's what I'm saying. If this upside line gets broken, that's kind of the last resort here for the could be the last resort for the bulls. And that if that gets broken, then yep, lower levels could be met. And finally, EURUSD. So here the pair moved above the 1.1909 level, or as I said yesterday, we can round it up towards the 1.1910. It closed above that, and the daily candle remained above that. So in a way, everything's kind of leaning a little bit more to the upside. Now, of course, as similarly like with AUDUSD, we'll be very careful here, because if somehow DXY starts reversing sharply to the upside, it could affect euro dollar. Now, again, for now, everything's looking quite nice, and I would say as long as the rate remains above the 1.1910 territory, there is still a good chance for this one to move higher, and we will aim for that psychological 120 zone. But if this 1.1910 territory gets broken and we see a daily candle remaining below it, then yep, we could consider a bit of a decline here, and yep, a move back towards in the direction of this upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of May. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and really appreciate your time, guys. I hope you found it I hope you enjoyed the session, but if you want to catch my video later on, my traders tea time, as always, 13:15 GMT. I hope you guys have a wonderful trading day. I hope you stay safe, and yeah, catch my video later on, my traders tea time, 13:15 GMT time. For now, guys, have a wonderful trading day. Bye.